Hey everybody, it's the Trout. Hope you're having a great day. See if you've heard this one before. Ready? You're a young musician living in a small town in Nebraska, and I mean small. And the town folks say to you, "What do you want to do when you grow up?" And you say, "Well, gee, I'd like to go to Nashville and become a famous musician." And the folks in the town go, "Okay, let's see what we can do." So they raise $2,500, send you the money. You get in your vehicle and send you on your happy way to Nashville with nothing planned. What happens after that? Well, you become a famous Nashville singer, songwriter, and performer. That's the story of Lucas Hoge, my guest today on The Trout Show. Lucas is not just a performer and a great songwriter, he's also the star of his own TV show about sporting and all sorts of things. He travels all over the world doing a sports show, and he performs music for Army people. He's just a great all-around performer and a great guy, and I had the opportunity to visit with him. So that's up next, Lucas Hoge, and he gets to fill in the blanks in the rest of his life. Before we get to Lucas's story, remember, if you like this channel, please subscribe. Give me a thumbs up if you like this video. So up next, Lucas Hoge, small town kid making his way to big time success. That's next on The Trout Show.
It's about that time for a sunset cruise. Little town skyline up in my rear view. I'm free tonight, baby, how about you? You wanna crank it up? And we can slow it down, or we can disappear. Just say the word and we can get out of here. And go take a little ride down a countryside drive. Take a spinning out my mind, put it under these tires. Make a little dust, we ain't got nowhere to go. Making all light change, taking every turn so yeah. Don't it feel like we got heaven in the headlights? This is one of them nights. Makes you wanna take a little ride down countryside drive. I just wanna take a ride down countryside drive.
There's three things I really liked about you. And it's funny, none of them are about music, which is kind of interesting. I love your music, but here's the thing. Number one is the town of, what is there, like 60 people in Hubble, Nebraska?
There's 8 people now. It was 44 when I was there.
Okay. So anyway, they got money together, according to the stuff I read, and I want you to verify, they got enough money for you. Where did they send you? You were singing around town. And
yeah. I grew up there, obviously, but me and my dad and my brother were always singing around, volunteering for anything that they needed to do, charity events, whatever. We got Volunteer of the Year awards, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
For graduation, I was just like, I'm going to give this thing a shot. If I ever have a time, it's now. And, I don't want to, sit back and wonder if and what if and all that stuff. I just want to do it. And so all the friends of mine that, we used to do some singing around with, and my old band back there, we got together. We did kind of like a mini Opry, at our local little gymnasium theater.
Yeah.
And said, hey, this is going to be, I'm going to Nashville. I want everybody to come. We're going to have a big party before I leave. And we opened up a free will donation and just opened up the doors, and we all just played songs and sang all night long and packed this like 400 seat auditorium, which was really, really cool. And a lot of the women's club and all the clubs like that, and the ladies' bazaars, and they baked goods and sold the cookies and the kolaches and all that stuff.
Wow.
Like made quilts, and they painted paintings, and they auctioned them off, and they donated all that money to me to get my butt to Nashville. I think I left out of there with a free will donation and all that stuff, about $2,500.
Wow.
Packed up my lunch truck and moved to Nashville, didn't know a soul, and just started doing it.
So how old were you at the time?
I was 20 at the time.
So you were out of high school.
Yeah.
Yeah, you graduated high school.
And I went to a trade school to get my degree in construction business, architecture, and that kind of thing, just in case.
Always has something to fall back on.
something to pay the bills until the music took off.
Right.
And moved straight down there right after that. I had 3 bands going at one time. I had a worship band called Extreme Devotion that we were leading worship on the UNL campus while I was going to college at Milford, Nebraska.
I know where that is.
I had a rock band called Southern Cross, rock and country. It was anything goes.
Yeah.
And then I had a country band called Borderline, all going at one time. So I was singing, from Wednesday to Sunday, whenever, I'd get out of school or get out of work.
Yeah. You're in Nashville and you got all these little bands. When was that? That was one of the reasons I like you. I'll get to the other 2 in a second, but I want to go on with this. You're paying your dues, which a lot of people don't understand that. Chapel Hart's a prime example. They've been singing for like 20, whatever the time is, and then they get discovered and people think, oh, you're an overnight sensation.
Exactly.
So from the time that you got there until the time that you got really traction, how long was it?
Man, that's a good question. It's probably at least 7, 8 years after I got to Nashville. I got to Nashville and I decided, I went I think I was at a boot store at the mall or something like that. And the guy goes, man, you come here for music? I said, yes, sir. And he's like, so did everybody else. He wasn't trying to be like pessimistic, but he said, about 3,000 people a month move to Nashville. And at the end of every month, about 98% of those people quit, give up, and go home. He's like, if you really want it, you need to stay here and figure out how to make Nashville a home first. I'm like, man, that's great advice.
Yeah.
And I went out and got a great job, something that was going to pay the bills because I knew the music wasn't going to do it for a long time. And worked my butt off during the day and get up about 5:30 every morning, worked all day at a construction site, got home at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, got a 30-minute shower and went down and played all the bars and writers' nights I could possibly find until probably about midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, and do it all over again every single day for about 3 years until I was able to kind of cut back on, having to cut my teeth at those honky tonks. And that'll educate you fast, about crowds and people and how to work those things like that.
So were you writing at the time too? Were you writing your own material? Or are you just doing?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Right when give me the time of day and just trying to do whatever I could to get into the industry in any way, shape, or form. Meeting everybody, don't take no for an answer, those kinds of things.
Yeah. I like the fact that you have spent some time overseas entertaining the troops, which is, that to me is a really cool thing to do. If I had the opportunity, I would, but I'm not a star. So, but how did someone come to you and say, hey, would you mind going on a tour, or did you decide to do it on your own?
So it's probably been about 15 years ago. I've done 13 years of consecutive tours overseas, and each one is about 2 weeks in length. And the first one was quite a while back, and there was a private contractor who was sending over talent, right? They were like, hey, we're going to do big stage and lights, and you go just perform and you just blow it out. Show them a good time. I'm like, okay, let's do it, And we, over there, it was just that. But we didn't get to spend a lot of one-on-one time because we were
going from one place. Yeah.
You do a show, get done, the grip and rip and leave.
Yeah.
Rip and it wasn't that one-on-one time that I was hoping for.
Right.
To sit down. And literally, I landed after getting back from that first tour, which was a 30-day tour to Iraq, Kuwait, Kosovo, and man, it was a whirlwind tour for sure, and it was a long time to be overseas in those areas. And as soon as we landed, it was CMA Fest, and I was scheduled to do like this celebrity shootout or something like that, where it was me and Craig Morgan and Tyler Farr, and there was a bunch of us anyway doing a bunch of stuff for CMA Fest. And the guy that was hosting it, his name was Robbie Powers, and he owned a nonprofit called American 300, and he had just started this other thing called Wrangler National Patriot, which a good friend of mine, flash forward, Jeff Chadwick from the Wrangler Corporation, decided to start this thing. And they partnered up before, a year, the same time that I was overseas. When I got there, he's like, man, I heard you just got home from overseas. He's like, how about you go back with me at Memorial Day? I would love to, but what's the tour going to be like? Because I don't want to just go over there and just play music and, grip and rip and run.
Yeah, you want to press some flesh, meet the people. Sure.
Exactly. say thank you and look these people in the eye.
Yeah.
And really, for me, whatever, let them tell me how their day's going, that thing. And he's like, that's exactly what we're going to do. He's like, we're going to put you, the guitar, and a Black Hawk and some rodeo cowgirls and cowboys, and we're just going to go meet people. And you'll play for a little bit, and you'll play around campfires or in defects and motor pool, wherever. You're not going to do a big show. I mean, we might set up one night and do a show at the end of the tour or something like that. What I'd like to do. Man, we were doing that 13 years in a row, and I loved every second of it. And yeah, so it's been pretty cool.
Well,
Do some crazy.
all they had to say to me was Black Hawk, and where's my guitar? I'm going. I'm gonna ride like it.
You would have loved it. It was a good time.
When did you get involved with? Is that the same offshoot of people that you're involved with the PTSD? There was a nonprofit you were involved with, I know, a few years back that had to do with they're based out of close there by Killeen. They're north of Killeen, I think, or down that area in Texas.
Guardian Angel for Soldier's Pet, which is really cool. So when you see those they reunite the pets with the troops that come home. It was that thing. So it's an organization that helps find foster homes for those animals. And because a lot of times people have to surrender them if they don't have anybody to take care of them, and they'll put the dog or the cat down. The organization stepped up and they're like, we're going to find people to take care of these animals until you get home. So that's the last thing on your mind. Know that they're taken care of, which is really cool. And I love being a part of that because I had an Animal Planet TV show years ago when I first moved to Nashville, where I was the singer-songwriter helping rep 180 dogs every single week and finding them new homes.
Wow.
So when they told me that they needed somebody to help them out, I was all
Oh yeah.
to talk about the military and pets and anything that can help them keep their mind off of worrying about that. I mean, that's a small thing, yeah.
Are they still doing their thing? Are they still together?
I think they are. I haven't heard, a whole lot. A lot of things kind of dropped off during the COVID.
Yeah.
Right. So we're all just kind of trying to get back to it.
That's the three things I really liked about you. Okay. You like dogs. You like dogs. That's it. Who cares about your singing career? I mean, seriously. Seriously, who cares? And of course, then the interesting thing about it is you have this Canadian. Is it a Canadian based? Or you were doing a Canadian Hoge Wild up there? Are you still shooting that, or you did that for a while, or what?
No, so that's why I'm down here.
For the show.
We're filming season 4 right now for Hoge Wild.
Okay.
But season 3 is airing right now in Canada. So yeah, it's going to be fun, man. We're doing some amazing stuff for season 4. Seasons 1, 2, and 3 were awesome, but this year's going to be incredible. We're going back to Costa Rica, Belize. I'm starting a music festival down in Belize because I fell in love with it down there so much that trying to buy a property and start a music festival so that I have a reason to go every few months.
Well, don't you dive too?
Yeah, we're going to be doing a lot of scuba diving down there. Most beautiful crystal clear gin water.
So how many episodes do you shoot for your show?
I'll do 10 to 13 episodes for a season.
So that's about 6 months. Where I guess it's like
quarters worth. Now we're doing three quarters worth. So we're probably going to do anywhere from 15 to 20 episodes, and then we're going to start over in Q2 and re-air all the way through, and then start back in Canada as well. So we're essentially year and a half round.
It's just some production coming out of Canada that said, "Hey, come up here and do this," or did you have people in the biz that said, or you had a concept?
I own everything. I created everything.
Oh, that's your whole show. Oh, wow, that's cool.
Company. I hire out the editing. One of my dear friends is my camera guy. I've known him for 15 years, probably, when he was being sponsored by the same archery company I was. It was me and Josh Stewart. You remember the actor Josh Stewart?
Yep.
Actor, he's been in like everything. You'd see his face and be like, oh yeah, I know that guy. All in the same archery company together for a long time, along with Low Cash. And I sought out this one dude who was sitting across from me, like, you don't look like you're like in the music business or in the film business. He's like, no, man, I'm just a hunter. I'm like, that's awesome. Of course, I'm like, what else do you do? How do you pay the bills? He's like, well, I'm a camera guy too. I'm like, there it is right there.
Yeah.
And became quick friends. And finally, when this show took off, I was like, man, I need that go-to guy that I want to keep that consistency so the show looks consistent, and he's my guy, man. He's hard worker. He'll work, an hour before we all get up and 2 or 3 hours before after we all go to sleep. just gathering content, filing, organizing, and just a badass. It really is badass.
I was impressed before, but I'm really impressed by you now because you're not just a musician, you're an entrepreneur. When I have a new artist, I say, do you understand how the music business works? It's the business of music. It's not the music business, it's the business of music. And you have to understand that. And you know this as well as I do. What's unique about you is you have the ability, you're smart enough, and you have the creativity to figure out, I can do this, I got to do everything. In other words, not everybody has that capability. A lot of people say, I just want to put me in the studio. I want to stand in front of the microphone and write song. I don't want to know how to run the board. I don't want to produce. Just do that. But you've taken it further than that. And that's very smart. I mean, I to sit there and go that way. And it's interesting to me because when I was a kid and I wanted to make it big and do all this stuff. But it was back then it was like, get famous or get known in your town, get bigger, maybe do the country fair, yeah. And if you're lucky, somebody from A&R would show up and go, say, boy, you want to sell your life away? And then you go and record, and then they throw it up on a shelf and go, sorry, we didn't like it. But now, and that's one of the things I always talk to people about is people still want the big label support. But on the other hand, like you're doing fine. There's no reason, and this is what I tell younger artists. There's no, I want to win a Grammy. I want to make $1 zillion. Well, how about just playing your music and get paid enough to make it work?
Exactly. Like I've been saying this since I moved to Nashville. I never had dreams of like being Garth Brooks. I love Garth Brooks. I love George Strait. I love them all.
Yeah.
And I love their careers. But it's like I always came to Nashville wanting a career. Don't make me I don't care if I'm a star. I don't care if I'm a celebrity. I want a career that'll last until I die. So
yeah.
Put me in the ground.
Yeah.
That was my, to be able to make music, be in the entertainment business, and make enough and pave my own way to where I can survive, have a great life, take me around the world, and it's done exactly that, And I've never wanted that gigantic stardom of holy cow, it's where you can't go outside and have dinner.
No, that
I've never wanted that. I've always wanted that long-lasting career that can sustain me until I die, and doing what I love to do.
So on stage, do you play acoustic most of the time, or do you play electric at all?
I hardly ever play electric. I'll play a resonator, but it's mainly acoustic.
Oh, you do? Okay. So what's your favorite guitar that you play?
Well, my favorite guitar that I have is the 410 Taylor limited edition that that was my guitar that I fell in love with when I first moved to Nashville. There was an old used music store that I would go into every week and make sure that it was still there. Because this guitar, it breathed a different era of like, I was playing an old Takamine.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
No.
But it felt like playing a 2x4 with strings on it compared to the Taylor that I would pick up. And
right.
I love Taylor. And I picked up this guitar every single week and I play this thing. And I would like hide it behind all the other guitars.
So they couldn't find it.
Move them so that nobody would see it, or hopefully they wouldn't see it. And it was probably 2 months later, I was literally playing that guitar, and my mom called me on my cell phone. And she's like, "If you're in that guitar shop, or and we're poor as could be. Mom and Dad always knew we always had enough, but we never had plenty." She said, "I'm going to get a credit card. You're going to buy that guitar, and you're going to pay me every month." I'm like, "Are you serious? Oh my God." She's like, if it's there next week, you go get that thing. And I took that credit card. I bought that guitar, $2,500, the most expensive thing I've ever bought in my entire life. And I paid that thing off probably, I don't know how long it took me to pay that thing off. She cut the credit out, and I still play that thing today. Every show, I still play that.
That's your baby. That's your baby.
I mean, it's got the old Willie and Waylon holes in it from the pick going back and forth. Hell out of that thing, and I play it hard. And then flash forward to me loving Taylor. I'm an endorsed Taylor guitar artist.
I would hope so.
I've got so many amazing Taylor guitars that I love, and my buddy Tim Godwin, would call me and we'd go to NAMM together. He's like, "What's your favorite guitar?" He's like, "You've done so many, posts for us and stuff. Can we send you some money?" I'm like, "I don't want your money.
Send me a guitar.
I want the K26 CE Luthier edition, this, that, gold, this." And he goes, "Okay." Way by the mailbox. Like 3 days later, this guitar shows up.
Wow.
And all Koa front and back, and just like my dream guitar, right? I'll never have to buy another guitar in my entire life. And when I got that, I was like about in tears. I loved it so much, but it still doesn't top that guitar that I hid in the old used music store for probably 6 months until I could figure out how to buy it.
So you're going to go on tour, and then that lasts for months, doesn't it? I mean, you're doing a lot of dates.
Yeah, I'll be done. The end of April is my last.
Well, it's not too bad.
Yeah, and then I start my festival May 17th to the 21st in Belize, and then that's when I start filming for the rest of the season for my show, my TV series, Hoge Wild. So we're going to be, like I said, we're going to be in Spain, we're going to be in Istanbul, Turkey, New Zealand,
Wow.
Canada, Costa Rica, Puerto Vallarta. We're going to be in Mexico, and all over the central United States as well. So
I admire what you're doing, and I'm sure a lot of people would find out about you if they knew everything about what you do. They probably admire you as much as I do for everything that you do. And I think what you do is just really tremendously great. And I don't blow smoke up at people because I don't need to. But the music is great. The TV show, which I will watch because I have Dish, so it's on Dish. I know. I did check it out. I'm going to have to record it. Now that I've seen you, I got to watch the show now.
all right, sounds good.
And so the single comes out on the 20th. And then after that, you go on tour, and then just kind of a last question. Do you take a tape? Do you record on the way and just kind of get ideas and start strumming and go, "I got an idea for a new song," or does that come to you like that or not?
Yeah, absolutely. My phone is clear full of ideas, and I'll send them off to my I call it my board of advisors or board of directors or whatever you want to trust, and be like, "Hey, I really want to cultivate this idea. Hold it for me," and I'll send it to this buddy of mine. And I'll be like, "I want to do this idea. Think on it and hold this one for me and put my name on it, because we'll come back in a few weeks and when I'm off the road, and we'll crack down on it."
California red, I'm whiskey straight laced with a ball cap, skull ring. I know you like that. I love your uptown shine. And in the back of my mind, I think it's time to see your countryside tonight and get lost, get lost. Find a county line that we can cross and keep on going. There's a world I want to show you. Let's take off, take off. Leave the city lights in a dust cloud. Baby, right now we can get lost, get lost. Yeah, I want to get lost, get lost. I want to get good and gone. Way out there, all alone with a million stars. Kiss you slow on the hood of my car. Turn them headlights off. Soak up every drop with the moonlight shining. Lose a little track of time and we can get lost, get lost. Find a county line that we can cross and keep on going. There's a world I want to show you. Let's take off, take off. Leave the city lights in a dust cloud. Baby, right now we can get lost, get lost. Yeah, I want to get lost, get lost. Yeah. I want to get lost out in the middle of nowhere. Get lost, girl, I know somewhere we can get lost, find a county line that we can cross and keep